presentation for us.
Thank you so much, CEO. Welcome to our stakeholders. Our name is Nogutula Sibia, and I'm the manager for research monitoring. The CEO has to give a presentation on the study behind the study. This is the first study that AgriSETA has conducted in terms of tracing their learners. So we saw that it is important for us to touch base where our learners are SETA, that talks to reducing poverty and unemployment in our sector. So just to give you a background, AgriSETA conducted a study for a period of 3 years, from 2015 until 2018, where we tracked our learners. And it was there were challenges on the road whereby we couldn't get the learners' contact details. You find that the learners have changed their contacts, but it's important that we do you look at the learner in that particular training, how it's impacted in the lives of the learner. So our objectives of this particular study was to gather data on the effectiveness of AgriSETA's learning program. Because you know, like, how effective is our learnerships, how effective is our bursaries, and so forth. Then another objective was for us to understand the social, economic, and technical effects of these interventions, poverty and unemployment. So now when we're looking at the social and economic status of our learners, it shows that at AgriSETA we are being proactive and we are trying to be impactful in the sector, beneficiaries and learner absorption in the job market. So here we're looking at the learners before they joined the particular training, were they employed or not. After our intervention, did they get employment or not? And most importantly, we're checking about where they are after completing the program. Because at the end of the day, agriculture, we know it's an entrepreneur career. We are fighting food security in the sector, and we have to try and see how we train our entrepreneurs to be able to produce country. Okay. Okay. So in the next slide, it's just showing learners that were unemployed, which resulted in 603 learners that were unemployed from the sample that we did in the study, which was around 1,064 learners. The reason why the sample is learners we couldn't track as the numbers were unavailable. However, what happened was after we concluded the study, we did a correlation analysis, which showed that our results were significant. So when the results are significant, it just means that should we have done the whole population, we would have received that mentioned that they were unemployed, and 93% of them mentioned that they're still looking for a job. This is quite alarming for us because it's AgriSETA AgriSETA are training so that the training that really struggle to get jobs all start their own businesses. And then the next figure you'll see, it's as beneficiaries, the reason for not having a job, and it stipulates that 38% of them says there are no job opportunities. I think you do the workplace skills plans, and in the workplace skills plans, it really helps us to plan ahead. And the data that you produce to us, it really filters through to the research department, whereby in the research department, we look at what are your hard to do cases that you fill in on the workplace skills plans you need put in place. So results that are indicated here, that we have learners that are still seeking for jobs, we have learners that are not getting the relevant training that they need. So it's quite important, and that workplace skills plan really priority occupations list, which is a list that learning programs and projects consider when they are dispersing of grants. So this is the first phase that we really value the forms the root of our research information. Okay. Okay. So in this next slide, it's just how can AgriSETA improve? Because as a SETA, in continuous, we train what is relevant, and we also train what is needed in the sector. So they just explained that the length of the training program percent of the learners mentioned that the training is quite short. So perhaps as AgriSETA now internally, we need to go back to the drawing board and look at our learning programs in terms of perhaps leaderships. How can we improve on that to make sure that the training has the particular information that is needed by the learners? And then some learners had nothing to say at 21%, and we could create job opportunities after training assistance. So they need an initiative whereby will assist in terms of training assistance or job opportunities that they will need. So these are things that we're looking at AgriSETA to create a database where we link the learners with the market, which will help them a lot to get job absorptions. Okay, next slide. Waiting to move to the next slide. Okay, thank you. All right, so just to conclude and make some recommendations. You realize that I was also making recommendations. One step back. All right, as they're going back to recommendations, but basically the recommendations that we made is that AgriSETA should check the training providers at regular basis. You will realize that we do have a footprint in provinces where we have, if the trainings are relevant. However, it seems like we can do better, or we can expand our footprint on the sector, because it seems like the infrastructures sometimes where the learners are trained are facilitators that are more professional, because they were complaining that certain facilitators are not really professional, and at some stage they were saying some facilitators are not multilingual. And we know that our sector is predominantly rural, that are particularly multilingual, that can really assist our farmers in terms of language, on the language basis, language barriers. And then they also asked that we conduct specific, so we need more initiatives. We cannot use a textbook of years ago and expect change. We know that there's a lot of diversity that has happened in the sector. We know that agriculture is diverse in nature. So as a sector, we need to move with the times, and that also affects the way we conduct our training. It also and another one, they say we should avoid changing facilitators in the middle of the program, which is something that has to do with project management. It's something that we need to work hard on together with our stakeholders to make sure that when the learners start with a facilitator, we maintain that particular relationship. And then lastly is that is the multilingual part of things, that they should communicate in various languages. Yeah, so if I can just conclude on this, ladies and gentlemen, is that this study is quite important, and it was quite eye-opening for us as AgriSETA, because we were sitting here thinking that perhaps our learners are getting employment, our learners are getting absorption, only to find out that it's not the case. So we need to gear up and work extra hard to make sure that we respond to the particular skills that are needed. We respond to unemployment and poverty. Thank you so much, CEO, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Nokuthula, for the enthusiasm, the presentation that we have just made. Ladies and gentlemen, you have seen it practically that under my stewardship, leadership here at AgriSETA as the CEO, those colleagues who are very committed to their work, who play an important role in making us look better as AgriSETA, they would be exposed more for the upward mobility in their careers. The slide that you have just seen was those slides. They were prepared for myself so that I can take you through, but then I knew the best way to take you through is to get a person who has made them for myself, because in that field, she is better than me. You hardly find a leader in the position that I occupy who acknowledges that there is someone under him or her, it's better. And it's for that reason that I got Nokuthula to come and do the presentation, because in her field, ladies and gentlemen, she's better than me. Thank you, Nokuthula.
Thank you.
And you are still going to see so many of the colleagues within AgriSETA who would be exposed to this level of doing presentation to yourselves, so that you see that we have a team that is highly skilled under us, that are providing help as much as possible. Our vision, ladies and gentlemen, remains to enabling a skilled and prosperous agricultural sector, wherein our mission is to increase access to relevant skills that is impact-driven through strategic partnerships and credible research leading to inclusive economic growth. We have just done a very credible research presentation just now, and the partnership that we are starting to have with various stakeholders is quite encouraging. Within the shortest period of time, we were entering into partnerships that are going to assist us. And when we check our values, one is transparent. Here we are providing the information to ourselves as stakeholders as we possibly can, just to show that we are responsible. We own the presentation that we are busy making to you, with an understanding that we are united in this diversity, and to ensure that we provide the services to yourselves through the teamwork that you already see. I know you see me and the team here on the table, but behind us, there are people who have done quite wonders behind the scenes in putting together the work. So just a slight brief summary. For the past 4 or 5 years, 2016, this has been a performance that we have been pushing as AgriSETA. So in 2016, we had the total number of 42 things that we were expected to do, key performance indicators, and we achieved 57% instead of 100%. So in 2017, things that we're supposed to do were 78 key performance indicators, and we could only manage 53%, which is a 4% lower than what we had in 2016. When we check in 2018, we had total number of 64 key performance indicators that we were supposed to do, and we only achieved 46%, which is very low, below 50. But then in 2019, we had 75 key performance indicators that we were supposed to achieve, and 84% was achieved. I think a job well done. A round of applause to the team for achieving such a wonderful result, from 64 in 2018 to 84% in 2019. And 2020, we are facing March as our end of the year financial year. We hope to come closer if we can surpass 84%. But however, anything under my leadership, anything less than 90% would be a failure. I'm saying while I'm surrounded by a team of capable strategic executives with assistant managers and managers around them, that anything less than 90%, I would consider it personally as a failure. And I have no intention of failing you as stakeholders based on the track record that we have from the past. So the research that you are seeing on the screen has already been presented by Nokutula, which we want to continue to thank her and the department on that wonderful research that has been presented. So as for me, ladies and gentlemen, our budget runs at around just below 600 million. And our SETA is one of the biggest in the country because we are supposed to provide food security and sustainability of food production in every community, in every household, in every South African since we eat. We have targeted that within 5 years, we would increase our revenue to be above a billion rand. 1 billion rand is a target that within 5 years, we must have reached this, moving from just below 600 million to 1 billion. We therefore urge you as stakeholders, come up with plans, please assist us on advise us as well on how quickly we can reach that, because we can't be here while people are dying of hunger and poverty in the communities that we represent. So want to increase the learning opportunities within the agricultural workplaces, increase the worker skills levels, rapidly increase skills level of small and subsistence entities to create stability, economic growth, and improved access to agricultural value chain. These are some few things that we intend achieving within the 5 years, and establish longer-term impactful partnerships with employers, community organizations, and also organized labor. We are ready to have such long-term partnerships. And in the last part, we intend to improve our audit opinion. So far, for the past few years, we have been getting an unqualified audit opinion, which is very good. This time around, we intend within 5 years to go one step up and get clean audit, so that when those organizations that are well run, well led within our space, AgriSETA is one of them. So we further intend to improve the organizational performance, as I've studied, that above 90%, and if anything less, it's going to be a failure. So definitely, we are going to increase the project spending and reduce discretionary reserves. We are going to focus on improved project management within the organization that has already started. And I want to thank various executives who are leading different departments. We'll expand the current capacity within the organization, especially within the research, monitoring, and also evaluation areas, as you saw Nokutula and her team who did the presentation earlier on the tracer studies that we have done from 2016 until 2018. So we are going to focus definitely on the economic recovery of the sector through focused skills implementation. And your support, as always, ladies and gentlemen, shall come very, very greatly. The last part on the issue of cash reserves, we are saying we are definitely going to play a role to decrease that. And with you behind us, giving us advices, we are accessible. My office shall be available almost every day. Send those emails, send us the messages. We are not bigger than you. Our success depends on how well you advise us. We are ready to assist you as and when you are going through the whole day on the presentations that are still going to come. We wish you all the best. We are here with you and all the best. I'm looking forward to meeting you individually, possibly before the end of this year, 2021. I wish you all the best. I thank you.
Thank you so much, CEO. Thank you very, very much. I think, ladies and gentlemen, stakeholders, I think you can immediately pick up that the organization as a whole has got direction. We're unified in our approach, and we are really out there to make a difference. Thank you so much, CEO. Your leadership is showing results already. So thank you very, very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, stakeholders, in terms of the first part of the CEO's introduction and introductory remarks, we are urging you to put your comments and questions into the question box that is available to you. We have, I think the last count, Babuise, we had 276 participants, I think. So it becomes a problem in answering one-on-one questions. So what we're going to request is put your questions in that box. And I think with the assistance of our team, we will provide you with answers to that. Sure, thank you so much for the first part. It's really inspiring and motivating to us. Ladies and gentlemen, I think let us get into the second part of the presentation. I think you will see a transition of people from the seating, and people would come on board and leave us and come on board. I think the CEO might be joining us with his link in his office, and he'll be following very, very closely throughout the day what questions are being answered, questions being asked, and I think he's got a keen interest in the outcomes of this workshop. Thank you so much, CEO. We really appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, a quick one. We are moving forward in terms of our presentation towards the actual workshop. I think let us just allow a second or two for the CEO. Thank you again, CEO. I think the second part, ladies and gentlemen, just move here, is just for me to get to the workshop purpose and objectives. Thank you. I think our logistics are sorted now. Allow 1 second. As our executive team is leaving us. All right. So it's very exciting for us to talk to you today in this new format. I think the organization as a whole is listening in, and we are able to reach a lot of ears and eyes. Just from my side, a brief overview on how we're going to do this. Today, the scope of our workshop is focused on mandatory grants. We are focused here to ensure that we assist our skills development facilitators. We are here, we have a full team, we'll introduce them now to you to assist you in your questions. It's going to be a really interactive session. Ladies and gentlemen, so for today, it is mandatory grants. As an organization, by the end of March, WSPIATR, I think we talk about 26 March, am I correct? 26 March, AgriSETA will be running a national roadshow, perhaps in the same format. But then we will have our learned colleagues from ETQA, learning programs, our finance department, everybody will be on board. And we're going to broader issues in terms of what is on hand. So how are we going to do this workshop? What is the methodology? So we have a team of people that is ready. As the workshop progresses, we will not be able to take one-on-one questions. However, what the team will be doing under the stewardship of WSPIATR and Mandu and her team, they will be answering your technical questions. And I want you to feel free to ask any question relating to mandatory grant. The team will answer you immediately on the chat box. Even if it's a question particular to your organization, the team will assist you. And please ask those questions. And I see questions already flying in. And that's the sort of response that we're looking for. So we're really looking at increasing the quality of our mandatory missions. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are serious about our mandate of paying out mandatory grants. And we're really working hard. And I'll just show you quickly what we are up to when it gets to payouts. Our strategic goal is really to increase ultimately the skills levels of our workers and to provide opportunities to allow for that. So getting into yes. So where are we with mandatory grants? Where are we? So ladies and gentlemen, I think in terms of mandatory grants, I'll just skip the slide quickly. Let me just see if I can do my best to get back. Here we are. Okay, so there's a little bit of a delay. Let's try our best. All right. So hopefully we are here now. All right. So where are we in terms of our AgriSETA performance? In terms of our AgriSETA performance, we have concluded our 2020 financial year's evaluation. We are done. We are in preparation of our last payment. I heard from some reliable sources that our last payment is going to be in excess of 7 million. So there's a bit of pressure on our finance department. We're really working hard to make sure that we pay. Ladies and gentlemen, in the last financial year, we've exceeded our expectations of paying out mandatory grants with 8 million rand. And that talks to a team that's working very, very hard. Yeah, we continually get increased submissions of WSPs and ATRs with our submission rate just below 2,000. So what will we be doing and what have we been doing in the 2021 financial year? We're really going to focus on our large and medium organizations that are not participating to see if we can get them in participating in the process. We're really going to look at increasing the number of STFs to ensure that we reach all of those areas within our country. Obviously, today is all about the submission mechanisms. That's why we're having today to sit with you and talk through the mechanisms. And then obviously we're going to build strong relationships with our commodity organizations. In terms of the BUSA case, I know that there's a lot of questions around that. I think the communication from a SETA's perspective that we received is that there is movement behind the scenes to look at our grant regulations. There's inputs being sought, but currently it's status quo. We are working behind the scenes with the Department of Higher Education, Science and Technology and the Minister. And I'm sure that we'll get that direction very, very soon on that particular aspect. I'm almost through, ladies and gentlemen. Then you'll be relieved of me and you'll get the exciting young people that present. Just a quick reflection. What are we trying to show here? So what we're looking at is our total levy contribution that we have in blue. We have our total submissions and we have our total payout. What are we trying to achieve here? We really want to achieve that the payout and the submission is very close to each other. Actually, what's being submitted must be paid out. And you can see that there's real progress over time. But as a team, we'll continually strive to make sure that we get as close as possible to the number of WSPs and ATR submitted that we do pay out. However, ladies and gentlemen, there's a key element here. In the blue graph, it also shows that there are entities that are not participating. So ultimately, the gold medal would be if all of these graphs is equal or as close as possible to each other. So obviously, the blue graph is a bit of a showing a different value, but as an organization, we really need to strive to get as close as possible to all of our entities that do pay SDL, that we really pay them out and they participate in the WSP and ATR process. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last part. So why am I showing this to you? As STFs, some of you are freelance STFs, some of you are employed by employers, but this shows you the national picture. If I can just take an example, aquaculture means for now, starting with A perhaps, we have 137 employers that are paying levy, whose annual salaries that they pay out over 500,000. Of those, 39 submit WSPs. So there's a lot of work. I'm trying to say there's a lot of work out there that we need to be doing. And you know, there's other entities outside of that's not paying levies, which is non-levy paying entities that's below the threshold. Why am I showing this to you? I'm showing this to you, skills development facilitators, to say there's a lot of work out there. We're urging you. We're urging employers. I know the team, but he always says, I watch what is on his whiteboard. His whiteboard, there's a number written of 610. 610 is work that we are doing currently by phoning employers to say, please participate. You have the following things that you can gain. We can pay X amount of money back to you. So there's a lot of work going on. Some of the biggest sectors, you'll see the red meat sector, 2,878 levy payers, 453 participate, which is obviously a problem. And you can see the number of entities within the sector. Obviously, they include non-levy payers, etc. So, ladies and gentlemen, what is my overall message in terms of this slide? There's a lot of work out there. Our work is not done. And I think the team will really need to step up and get to this entities that are not supported. But I think that is the part where I might stop right now. So can I just do a quick reminder? We're going to go into the technical part of the training now. We're going to introduce the team quickly to you that's going to sit in the background and assist you. But please bear with us. We are here to assist you, and we are really here to move forward in terms of mandatory ground pay. Please let those comments come, and there's a team that's going to answer that. Thank you so much, Pawisi. Good luck for the day. I'll see you through the day. I'll be here, and the team will take that forward. Thanks, Paul.
Okay, thanks for you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Goeiemorgen. Sanbonani. Dumelang. As Friggy has already indicated, my name is Bavuyis Hermanus. I believe that we have got new attendees to this year's roadshow. So we would like to welcome you on board. I've been joined by my assistant manager, Mando Mashangu, brilliant lady that I've been working together with. We will be taking you through the next 2 to 3 hours. We'll try our level best not to keep you guys for long, as this is a virtual session. So allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce my team. And this is the part I love most. I think those who have met me in person last year, you guys, you know, that introducing my team is what matters most to me. And luckily this year, my full team is here. So as I will be calling their names, they will come right behind me so that they can all be visible to the camera, so that you guys can be able to put the face to the name or the name to the face. So I will be calling them and they will come and just show up so that you guys can see them. Okay. Behind us is Mr. Sipo Ndala. And Sipo is one of our evaluation officers. Next up, we have got Raquel Harris. And Raquel has been with us for longer than anyone in my team. So thanks, Raquel. Then new face after a year. I think last year you guys didn't see Pam. Pam was on a very nice prolonged leave. And I say that Pam tried her level best to make sure that she's ready for today. So we have got Pamela Ngubane. Thanks, Pam. Last but not least, we have got Kulufelo Malabane. Kulu was also on a prolonged leave when we were there last year, when we visited you provincial, and she's back full force. So that's my team that I work with. When people are saying we paid out 8 million more than what was budgeted, the faces, ladies and gentlemen, you just saw, those are the committed ladies and gentlemen that work extremely hard to make sure that your WSP is approved timely and your queries are attended to timely. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will be continuing with the formal training. And on stage, I will be joined by Sipo Ndala. That's the gentleman that we will be steering the ship together. Hopefully we finish very early. The rest of my team will be taking care of your questions and answers, the messages that you guys are writing on the charts. Should there be a message or a query that we could not respond to, I still commit that you will get a response in written format. Okay. Why are we here? That's a big question. We are here because we're meeting to deliver a workshop that is required by the grant regulations. Grant regulations are informed by the Skills Development Act, and we are here to assist our levy payers with the submission of 2 documents two documents, which is an ATR, which looks at your previous year activities, and a WSP, which is looking into the future. To our new colleagues who joined us for the first time this year, employers with a payroll more than 500,000, they pay 1% of their payroll as skills levy. 20% is paid back as a tax incentive in the form of mandatory grants. Who qualifies to get mandatory grants or to claim mandatory grants? What is more important today, colleagues, is that one date you need to remember, either on your slip or as you walk into the office, is that come 30 April 2021, you must have submitted a WSP and an ATR in our Indicium system. The system is live. We launched it earlier this year, which is at the beginning of January, to take care of all of our colleagues who are busy with harvesting during this period. We currently have received 270 submissions of 2021-2022. So please, after this session, log in, initiate your WSP. You will have the next couple of months to actually submit it. Should there be a need, my team will be available to assist you. As you know, we always respond to your phone calls and your emails timely. The next up, colleagues, is once you have registered with SARS, what happens if you have registered with an incorrect SETA? Or else you are trying to register as a skills development facilitator, but you can't find the levy number allocated to your employer. We have got a process that is called an inter-SETA transfer. Currently, Pamela, Gubane, and Kulufelo are responsible for assisting you in that regard. So we can assist you to transfer from your current incumbent SETA to AgriSETA. We can also assist you in establishing whether the employer that has appointed you to be their SDF is registered with us or not. The process is not a very lengthy process. However, the process can take a little bit longer to actually finalize. Once you have contacted Pamela or Kulufelo to assist you with an inter-SETA transfer, ladies and gentlemen, please note that two SETAs need to approve on the DHEAD portal once you submit your IST form. The process does not take a month or does not take 2 days. However, it takes up to 6 months to finalize. I recommend that we stick to what is recommended in the grant regulations, which is to facilitate inter-SETA transfers between April and June. I'm happy to report back this year to you colleagues that if you remember when I went around the country last year, we had a lot of questions about inter-SETA transfers that were outstanding with services SETA for more than 4 or 5 years, some. Others were more than 3 years, if I remember. I'm happy to report back that after we came back from the road shows, we have finally closed that chapter, and almost 14 companies that were struggling to transfer from services SETA have transferred to AgriSETA. But when services SETA approved their inter-SETA transfers, they only approved them with effect to April 2021. So for this year, those entities will still submit their WSPs and ATR with services SETA. So I feel that was a big achievement for us because some of the colleagues were really struggling to get transferred out of services SETA. And once again, I would urge you colleagues that if you have got a company that you would like to transfer from services SETA, please bear with my team, as services SETA has quite a lot of governance structures that needs to first approve an inter-SETA transfer. However, with other SETAs, we've got a very good working relationship, and your inter-SETA transfer is usually finalized quicker. Now, going into detail of why are we here and what is it that we need to explain to you colleagues. One, I need to confirm that the presentation will be shared with all of you just after we finalize this workshop, so you don't have to rush and take notes. You will get the information. As I've already indicated, colleagues, that if your employer is currently having a salary bill more than 500,000, you need to submit a WSP and an ATR to us so that you can access your mandatory grants. Mandatory grants is our reinvestment in a form of a tax incentive so that you train your staff complement. Now, what are the consequences of not submitting your WSP or ATR? The consequences of not submitting a WSP and your ATR are a little bit dire because one, your employer is going to lose on BE scores, which is a very important thing to either access government funding or else your contribution being measured by the national government of the country. The second thing is that you might not access our very own discretionary grant because it means you failed to do a skills analysis for your organization. The other thing that you might have there as a consequence is that our critical skills as AgriSETA might be skewed towards a certain industry, as your submissions are used to inform our skills plan by the research team. So those are the consequences. They are very critical and very dire, that you make sure that you submit on time. Next up is how do you then access your 20%? I've already indicated that you need to submit an ATR. Your ATR this year, it should cover activities from 1st of April 2020 up to March. If your organization has not done a training between April 2020 up to today, you still have got a month and a half to train your staff between now and the end of the financial year, which is the 31st of March. So please double check as an SDF or as an owner if you have done any form of training. Because if you don't have any form of training, your submission will automatically be rejected, as submission of proof of training is one of our mandatory requirements. The WSP will look at the training activities you want to roll out between 1st of April 2021 and March 2022. Up next is what goes into your WSP. What goes to your WSP is mainly the training and development initiatives that you intend to complete between 1st of April 2021 and 31st March 2022. We are using our financial year, not your company's financial year, to look at the training activities. So please make sure that you consider that. And colleagues, I'm tempted to say, let's have a comfort break of 5 minutes because we have been on this platform just to stretch our legs so that we don't strain your back as you are continuing with this workshop. So we will have a comfort break of 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, I will hand over to Sipondala to assist us with the next phase of our presentation. Thank you so much, colleagues. The time on my watch is 10:10, and at 10:15, Sipondala will continue with the training. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, welcome back, colleagues. As I indicated that we will definitely be ensuring that we don't keep you for long. I promise that we will start at 15:15 after our comfort break. I have been joined by Sipondala, who will take you through the technical detail that goes into our submissions. We'll also look at the challenges that we encounter as we evaluate WSPs. We'll look at more detail on what type of documents you guys need to submit. So Sipo, over to you, brother.
Thank you, Bavrishe. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As my manager here, Bavrishe, has alluded, my name is Tipondala, and I'm the evaluations officer in the AgriSETA on the mandatory grants unit. Now, here is also alluded, I'll be taking you through the technical details of our mandatory grants application. Now, basically what I'm going to take you through is what is required of you and what you need to submit for you to be able to claim your mandatory grants application more in detail. Okay, now as Bavrishe has alluded, the submission date, very important, ladies and gentlemen, it is the 30th of April, 2021. There will not be any extensions nor exceptions allowed. And the payout that's going to be due to our employers, it will be the 20% that we have received from the 1st of March 2021 to from the 1st of April to the 31st of March 2022. So it's the 1st of April 2021 to the 31st of March 2022. That is the application that you're going to receive in this year, which will be paid throughout the year. I will further explain on the payment dates and the requirements. Ladies and gentlemen, you will need to submit your annual training report together with your workplace skills plan, supported by your proof of training. And all the formats will be submitted online, and you also need to upload your authorization page as well as your proof of training onto our Indicium system. We've been receiving emails that our SDFs have been requesting hard copies, ladies and gentlemen. In this year as well, we will not be allowing any hard copies to be submitted. All the applications will be submitted online. And for our large companies, we also have a bulk import that's available. So you can download it from our Indicium system, complete it on your site, and then you'll be able to upload it, and then it will be linked to your workplace skills plan as well as your annual training report. And for this submission, ladies and gentlemen, we will be using the 2019 OFO code. So your annual training report together with your workplace skills plan will be using the 2019 OFO code. And furthermore, ladies and gentlemen, on the proof of training that is required for submission, we require on our side the invoices, which is the preference of the proof of training. We only require samples of 5 invoices. And additional, you can send us certificates, which also need to include your company stamp, the date of the training, as well as the type of the training, which is the intervention that the employees would have attended. And then we also require attendance registers. There is an important note that we always make that all these type of trainings that we require should always have the company name, the date of the training, as well as the type of intervention or the program or the training that they have completed. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll also be able to upload these proof of training onto the system. And then we will also be required to submit your authorization and declaration page, as well as your booking details. We'll be given an option to be able to upload those details, so we are able to pay the levies back to the companies. And then we also have what we call a client relation management on our side and on DCM as well. That is where you'll be able to get your letters and all the documents that we send out to SDFs. That's your the CRM, as we always refer to, it's client relation management section on DCM. And we also have our manuals and guidelines, your SDF registration manual, as well as the manual to assist you to submit your workplace skills plan together with your annual training report. We have them available on our website. If you need them, please go there and download them. They will assist you to submit the workplace skills plan as well as the ATR. And then, ladies and gentlemen, furthermore, the DCM is best viewed in Google Chrome. If you're going to use the Internet Explorer, you might struggle logging onto DCM and also be able to submit your workplace skills plan. Okay, next I'll be covering the registration of our SDFs, which we refer to the skills development facilitators. I'll be taking you through on how to basically to register on our system. Okay, and then all SDF registration, ladies and gentlemen, are done online. As I've alluded, we also have the SDF registration manual that is available. It will take you step by step on how to register yourself to be able to complete your mandatory grants application. And then with those SDF registration, we also require the appointment letter, which will also be given an option to upload onto the DCM system. And then we also get a notification from the DCM that Pitpompis has registered to SDF, and then on our side, we will grant you access to that. Now, just a simple step, you go to AgriSETA website, you click on log on, you register, you complete your details, and you click on save and proceed, and then it will require you to select or search for the SDL number of that particular company, and then you'll then be required to upload the SDF appointment letter. And then once you have uploaded the appointment letter, you then click on finalize application, and from there on we'll receive a notification, and then we will then grant you full access to be able to complete the mandatory grants application. Okay, the new changes for this year, ladies and gentlemen, basically from our financial year, as Bavisa has alluded, from the 1st of April 2021, the new changes is what I've just alluded. The OFO codes will be using the 2019 OFO code version. So for both ATR as well as for your DSP, will require the 2019 OFO code version. Okay, basically, in essence, on our side as AgriSETA, the OFO is a coded occupation classification system. This is for our new SDFs who have joined in onto the webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, the OFO is a structure that has 8 categories, which classifies your major groups, management to your professional, technical, clerical, up until elementary occupations. And as the SETA, we are, compelled from since we report to the Department of Higher Education and Training, we are compelled to use the OFO code for our side, since it's also on our grant regulations as well. Okay, this is an example, gentlemen, that is basically to show you as to how the new version looks like when you go onto our DCM system. You'll notice that on the beginning of the code, there is the year 2019, and then there is the OFO code. Just to allude and to also clarify, this will be the code that will come out on your ATR as well as on your WSP. Okay. On the next slide, ladies and gentlemen, I will then be taking you through the challenges that we have experienced in the current financial year in terms of the application that we have received. Most of our challenges that come from a number of duplications that we receive in terms of the proof of training. You'd find in instances there is a training that the company has done, which is, for example, first aid, and then the SDF will send us 20 copies of that intervention. We only require one sample of first aid. If you have your invoice, your certificate, your attendance register, you don't need to send all of them in. We only require just one sample. If you have an invoice preferred, you can send that. And then for another training intervention, you can send something different from all the training interventions that you then have listed. So if you have listed 5 or 10 interventions, just send a sample of 5. There's no need to send a certificate, an invoice, as well as an attendance register. And then in most cases, you find that your authorization page are submitted, which are for the incorrect year, as well as your proof of training. As we have alluded, for this financial year, your annual training report, which is coming from the 1st of April 2020 to the 31st of March 2021, which means any training that happened between those dates will then be accepted in the next submissions as proof of training. And then furthermore, you'll find that on the challenges that we experience, the company or the SDF has submitted the workplace skills plan together with the annual training report, but there was no proof of training received. And you also find that there was no authorization uploaded on the system as well. Now it becomes a challenge for us. That's when we start sending out queries, and then you have delays that up until this stage, you'll find that some people have not received their levies is because of such challenges that we come across. And then, ladies and gentlemen, to also outline to you the evaluations for the current year's submissions will start in May 2021, my correction there. So the evaluations will start just after the submission date of the 30th of April. And then in May, we shall commence with our evaluations up until the team is done with evaluations and conclude the applications for 2021. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the payment schedule for the next financial year to pay out our levies, the first grant payment, ladies and gentlemen, will be done in September 2021. So as you submit now in April, you should expect your first levies to be paid in 2021, end of September, which means that we conclude all evaluations that will be paid in September in the end of August. And then furthermore, the next quarter will then conclude in the end of November, make the payment in December. And then furthermore as well in March and April, as I've explained, just a month before the quarter ends, we conclude our mandatory grants payments, and then the payment is made on the end of that the next particular month. So payment will be made in September, December, March, as well as in June. All right. I think on my side, that concludes my presentation, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time. I will hand you over back to Mr. Hermanes, who will take us through the closure of our workshop as well as his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ndala. It's still morning. In case there's someone who joined after I was done with my part, good morning. And I will be looking on other matters. As I indicated when I began my presentation, that our intention is not to keep you here, colleagues, for too long. However, we will still be continuing to support you on a day in, day out. We are working remotely. We come to the office on a rotational basis to ensure that we comply with COVID-19 regulations. There are a few matters that I would like to raise with you as other matters that were not included in our presentation. The first issue that colleagues you might be asking is, now that most of the time in 2020, 2021, we're working virtually, what form of proof of training will we need for online training? If you facilitated an online training during this period, we urge you to produce an attendance register and attach your company's stamp. We will still accept that. Failing which, we urge you colleagues to produce a screen print of the training reflecting your attendees. For example, now we're having a virtual training. If you look at the screen, at the bottom, it will be able to show you how many participants. Then that will still be an acceptable proof of training if you can still put it on your letterhead and attach your signature as an HR manager and the signature of the person who facilitated the training. We'll accept those. Make sure that it has your company stamp all the time. The second thing I will be looking at is what is not falling under mandatory grants. In the organization, I am also responsible for reporting, which deals with capturing of learner information from various service providers and employers. Last year, when I joined the organization, you will remember that we migrated fully for WSPs from having hard copy files to an online platform. I am currently responsible for ensuring that learner registration is also migrating fully from manual processing, where we grant you as skills development facilitators and training providers access to our website, to our system, which is the Indicium system. This year, we have launched an online learner registration for all learning programs. The manual is available on our website. The request or access form is also on the manual. All you need to do is to complete that access form and we will give you access to our system. In reporting, I've got a team that will always support you. The team is led by my assistant manager, who goes by the name of Ms. Johanna Masumbuka. But should you not get hold of any of my reporting staff, please make sure that you contact me. My contact details are still gonna come on the presentation. The next thing I would like to also raise on my other matters is that this year, you guys know we work remotely. We had a number of rejections in our mandatory grant payment that was done on the 17th of December of 2020. So we have organized with Clemma, who is my colleague. I've been working very well with Clemma this year. We've organized a special run that will be made hopefully before the end of this week. That's a special run Free was referring to, where he said there will be a disbursement of 7.5 million that will be made before the end of this month. That will include all the colleagues that have got an approval status but did not get their mandatory grants before the end of December last year. The next thing I will touch base on is what I call hashtag tell your neighbor. We are embarking on a process where we ensure that everyone in the agricultural sector knows when to submit a WSP. We have increased the submissions last year by 200 plus companies. This year we are targeting to increase by more than 610 companies. So Wherever you are, please do a hashtag tell your neighbor. Ensure that your neighbor knows when to submit. Ensure your neighbor is submitting. There's quite a lot of money that our farming activities or our farming companies are forfeiting each year. So please make sure that you spread the word on our behalf. Should you need to extend or to send our contact details to those people, please feel free to send our contact details. We will gladly assist you. As you all know, I always respond to my phone. Please feel free to also share my contact details with anyone that is within my database. I will gladly assist them for mandatory grants purposes. Contact details. As I've already indicated, ladies and gentlemen, that our details will be on the screen. These are our email addresses and our landlines. As you all know that we work remotely, I will encourage you to use our email addresses. At the top, there is a centralized email address, which is called mandatorygrants@agriseta.co.za. When you send a communication to us, please make sure that you always copy that centralized email address. The 6 of us have got access to that email address. If I log in the late hours or in the early hours of the day and I find that your communication is not yet responded to, I usually respond to that query myself. So please make sure that you try to use email addresses, because we come to the office on rotational basis. On our landlines, you might not get any please. However, once you contact us on our email signatures, our cell numbers, some of us are also reflecting there. So I've made an arrangement with my team that can they assist stakeholders using their personal cell numbers. So before I waste more time, ladies and gentlemen, I've got my executive manager, Mr. Friki Fouché, who will join me once again to come and do closing remarks for us. And from our side, as the team, the technical part is concluded. Friki has indicated there will be a next roadshow, but it will be an annual information roadshow for the organization. We will be given an opportunity again on the 26th of March to share the presentation with you colleagues. Should you have more inputs, please share with us so that we can enhance the presentation for the next round. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Babuisi. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we've done it in a sort of a record time, but I think it's much more efficient than we used to do it. I think for me, I always said to my colleagues, I come from the Free State, and in the Free State, you want to see people physically, but it's not possible now. So I do hope that we will reach a point one day that again we will meet you physically. Let me take the opportunity to thank you for your participation, for taking the time, and hopefully you could see that there is a real commitment from the team, a real solid commitment to come good on our mandate, to pay you your grants, to evaluate your submissions, and to make sure that people are trained in the workplace. Babuisi has said a very important thing. He said, please spread the word. He talked about telling your neighbor. So please spread the word. We are here to assist you. We will continue to answer your questions on the chat box. I see the team is typing furiously, which is very, very, very positive for me. And we will make sure that we answer each and every one of you. Thank you again from my side. and the CEO is extending his thanks to you. And we hope to see and hear from each and every one of you very, very soon. Thank you very much.
Your lunch, the meeting and the webinar is adjourned. Thank you.